Hi, welcome back to I Plan to Create. Debbie here. Today I'm going to be finishing up this baby blanket that I started a couple of days ago. I did some of this here. This is going to be for my grandson, and I just did a whole bunch of, and I'll link down where I got it from below. It's just, I guess, farm animals, and they're all in a frame, so that was cute. But for these I used the 5x7 hoop, but now I want to add his name down here at the bottom, his first and middle name. So I'm going to be using the prepositional hoop, which is a 5x12, and I thought I would turn on my camera and show you guys how I am going to do that. So let's head over to the computer so you can see how I open it up on Embroidering. So I am here in Embroidering, and I am going to change my hoop. As you can see, this is the hoop area, and to get the hoop size that you need, you have to go into this little folder here. I'm gonna open that up, and right now it's at normal, and we're using the 5x7, which is this one. So you can see, I'm gonna apply so you can see it, how it would be when you open up Embroidering for the first time. It will look like this. But I'm gonna go back to that folder, and I'm gonna click here where it says multi-position, and that's gonna give me the different sizes for multi-positional hoops. And I'm gonna click on this one, which is the 130 by 300 jumbo hoop, which is the 5x12. It tells you down here the actual size in inches. So that's the one that I want, and I want to rotate that 90 degrees. And I'm gonna press apply and hit OK. And there is my multi-positional hoop. And then I'm going to click on the A up there, and it's already on this font, which is the font that I want. So to choose a font, you just click on that there. So you click here where it says font, and then you can choose whatever fonts the Embroidering comes with, or you can buy your own fonts from Etsy and places like that. So here where it says text, I'm going to write out his name, Elijah Miguel, and I'm gonna press enter. And as you can see, it's outside of the hoop. So what I want to do is come up here, and it's gonna say fit to hoop. So that's what I want to do. Fit to hoop. And as you can see, it's still a little small. It looks a little small on this big old hoop. So I want to stretch it out a little bit. So I'm just gonna grab on these things right here, these little black things. I'm just gonna make it a little bigger. And then what I want to do also is go here where it says stitch, and where it says composition, or I think that's what it stands for. But I'm gonna click on this, and I'm gonna widen the stitches a little bit like that. I think that's good. Maybe a little smaller, like right there. I think that's good. I'm gonna go back here to letters where it says letters, and then I'm gonna stretch it out a little bit more, like that. And then I'm gonna come here. This one is center design in the hoop. I want to make sure that it's centered in the hoop. So I'm going to click that, and as you can see, it's centered. If you want to move just the letters by themselves, you can click on this, and with that you'll be able to move the letters by themselves. But I don't want to do that because I like the way it is already. So I'm sorry for the background noise, but I'm home with the family and everybody's loud. But anyway, so this is what I want to put on the blanket. If I come here, I can change the thread color if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to, I'll choose whatever color I want once I get to the machine. I usually don't change the colors, but that is where you would change the thread colors here. Now, I'm not an expert in embroiderings. I'm just starting to get comfortable with it, so I know the basics. And now what I want to do is I want to save this to my pen drive so I can take this design and put it in my PE800 so I can start stitching it out. So what I have to do is come up here to where it says file, and I'm going to go all the way down here to where it says Save Stitch File As. I'm going to click that, and here's where I want to rename it. So I would rename it, let's say Elijah, and I'm going to put 5 by 12 hoop. So I know that that is the big hoop. And I will press save. I'm not going to press save now because I don't have my pen drive attached to my computer right now. It's still on my machine. So I already did this. I already have it on my machine. But I just wanted to show you guys how it's done. So you would rename it and then press save, and it will save into wherever it is, your pen drive. I think that's what it's called, right? It's a pen drive. Portable drive. And that is basically it. And then when you go to the machine, it's going to be saved in 2 separate files, because remember, this is a big hoop. So when we save these type of files with this hoop, it's going to give you 2 separate files. So it's going to cut this in half, and one half is going to have probably Elijah, and the other half is going to have Miguel. And you're going to stitch one at a time. And I'll show you that once we get back to the computer, which we will do right now. Okay, so now I'm going to add my stabilizer to the hoop, and I'm going to be using, I got this big roll of tearaway from Amazon, and this is what I'm going to be using to embroider on the blanket. So I'm just going to cut a piece that's going to fit into this 5 by 12 and get the blanket on it. So I'm going to float the blanket on top. Should be plenty, more than enough. I'm just going to open up the hoop, and I'm going to place this. I'm just going to find my middle, like so, and then I'll place it on the back part of the hoop. Just get it hooped. Go. And I'm going to cut some of this excess off so it don't be in the way. But as you can see, it's hooped on this big old thing. And then I'm going to tighten it right here. I need to put my little rubber thing so I don't hurt my hands, because this is tough. Alright. It's hooped on there good. And I'm just going to use my scissors to just cut away some of this, because it's not going to be needed. Do the other side. There we go. Goes in this way. As you can see, it has 4 of them. This is why it's called a repositional, because you're gonna do these 2 first, and then when it's done embroidering this side of the design, it's gonna tell you that it's done. So you're just gonna remove the hoop and then reposition it on these 2 here on the machine. So that's what we're gonna do now. Just want to make sure that this is tight. It doesn't seem like it's tight, so I'm gonna tighten it up without ripping it. But I need to tighten this a little bit more. Alright, so I found a little piece. I'm just gonna add it here, because I can do a much better job with it on. And I think that's good there. Alright, so now we're going to use some of this basting adhesive so the blanket floats on top of here. But before I do that, let me put let me mark the middle of it. All right, so I have my thing here. I don't know what it's called. But this helps a whole lot to find the middle and where you want to put whether it's a shirt or a blanket or a towel. So I'm just gonna mark here, find my middle, that's my middle, and then down here and up here. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my ruler and do some crosshairs. So I'm just gonna mark it, make sure that it's straight, down like that. Oops. And then this way. So let me turn it back this way so I can see what I'm doing. This is too big, so I'll take my thing here. This is the colored thread thing from the bro thread that I have. So I use that to make my crosshairs, so I know where my middle is. Hope you can see that. Okay. So now that we have our crosshairs, we can spray it with this. I'm gonna take it away from my machine so I can spray it. It doesn't spray my machine. Shake it well, and then spray. You don't need much, just enough for the blanket to stick to it. Now I'm going to take my blanket I have here, and now we have make sure that we put the blanket in correctly. So I want it to, the axis of the blanket to lay on this side of my hoop, which is here on this side of the machine, instead of on the side where there's no opening here. Okay, so I'm going to take my blanket, I'm going to look for that spot that I want, which is right here on this side. Right, this is where I want the name, on this side here. So I'm gonna fold it in half so I can find my middle. I'm folding it in half like this. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure it's folded correctly. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna straighten it out, make sure that, and then now remember we have to sew this to the other side of the other part of the blanket, which is the flannel. So I want to make sure that I put it down enough where there would be room for me to sew. So I have to keep that in mind. So I'm gonna take my hoop, I'm gonna take my blanket, and I'm gonna, no rhyme or reason, I think I'm gonna put it right there, and I'm just gonna put it on the crosshair that we drew, and then just flatten it out so it can stick to the hoop, right? And then make sure that we right on the middle. So, hope you can see that. And as you can see, I have a lot of space down here because I want to sew this part of the blanket. About right here, I'm gonna start sewing, and then this is gonna get cut away so we can turn it inside out. Anyway, that's another step we have to take. First, let's just get the name on it first. Right, so I have it, I think where I want it. Let me just. And now what we have to do is open up the blanket to put the other piece on top of here. And we're just gonna smooth it on there because the adhesive is there, so you want it to stick. So now, oh, I put it on the wrong way. I said I wanted this to hang on the other side, right? So I'm gonna have to redo what I just did. So I'm just going to take it off. I'll find my middle again and just turn it around. Sometimes we don't pay attention to what we're doing. So it's got to go this way. See, this side is going to hang this way. We're going to find our middle again. Just right there. Like I said, I want it to hang a little bit of hang over, just over it, a little bit of hang over here, so we can sew the blanket closed. And then I have to move it this way so I can see what I'm doing. And it's right in the middle where the crosshair is. I'm gonna smooth it out. And then I'm going to open it up to get it on the other side, like so. Like that. Just smooth it out. So now this part is where I need it to be. And as you can see, my blanket is hanging on this side. That's another thing you have to pay attention to. So when you go to make the design, when you put it on, you gotta make sure that it's right on the computer screen here, that it's flipped the right way. So we're gonna do that next. But before I do that, I have to put some water soluble here on top and pin it down. So here's my water soluble. I got this from Joann's. You can get it at Amazon as well. I'll just show you what it looks like. It's by Sulky, excuse me. Bulky. And I'm just gonna take my scissors here. These are not my fabric scissors. These are just regular scissors. And I'm gonna cut a piece that's as big as the hoop, like so. So that should be good. And I'm just gonna cut right here. And I'm gonna grab my pins so I can pin it down so it can stay on there as smooth as possible. This is just sewing pins, and I'm gonna pin as much as possible so it can stick nice and smooth on here, so it doesn't move around. Like so. I'm just going to pin it all over. I'm going to put on this side as well. Make sure that I pick it up. And keep pulling on it so it could be nice and tugged. And then I'm going to put one on this side, right here. I'm going to pick it up. I'm left-handed, so it's going to be a little difficult doing it with my right hand, but I'm going to do my best. And I'm holding it from the back as well without pinching myself or pinning myself, so I can get it in there. I got it. So that one is pulled down. Now I gotta do this side right here. Put two of them as well. Making sure that you don't poke a hole. It's gonna ruin your stabilizer, because remember, this is tear away, so it tears easily. So make sure you are gentle with it as well. There we go. So I have my water soluble down, pinned nicely. Let me pin this one again. So look like it's not pulled too tight. I want to pull tight there. and then we're gonna hoop it on the machine. So I'm gonna bring the machine closer. And I'm gonna move the blanket out of the way, get it in there so I can see what I'm doing. And the first one, like I said, we're gonna do is this side of the hoop. So these two are gonna get hooped on here. So let me just move the blanket out of the way. And I'm going to hoop those first two. There, it's hooped. Make sure nothing is in the way. There we go. Everything's on there. There's nothing underneath. Everything is flowing. There's nothing under the hoop. You can make sure, I'm lifting it up to make sure. On this side, I know there's nothing there. Everything is out of the way. Alright, there we go. So now, I'm just gonna bring you over here so you can see the screen. Alright, so here's my screen, and I already brought it up. This is the first part, but I'm just gonna go back so you can see. I'm gonna press here. Oops, I'm gonna press here. That's my USB. It's gonna take a minute because I have a lot of stuff in here now. And I'm gonna go back. Instead of going this way, I'm gonna go back because I know that's one of the last things I put on here, so I can find it easier. And here it is. So this is the first part. Let's see if you can see that. So this one right here, it says Elijah, and then this one says Miguel. So I know that this is the first part that I need to do. And I'm gonna press set and make sure that it's a 5x7 hoop, which is the prepositional hoop, which the machine knows because we saved it as a prepositional hoop from the computer. And then I'm gonna click, and it's the right way, the way I want it to be, facing this way, sideways. I'm gonna press on this little thing here to show me where it's gonna, this part right here is gonna move, and it's gonna show you where it's gonna embroider on, where it's gonna stitch on. Okay, so I'll go right back to the middle of this side of the hoop, and then I'm gonna press OK, embroidery, and then I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna set my attention to what I always put it to, which is 2.8. Press OK, and then I'm gonna go here because, as you can see, you see this black line around here. It's gonna stitch that out first. I forgot what it's called. I don't know if it's I forgot what it's called, but it's just so to make sure that I guess the garment stays down on the hoop or something like that. I'm not sure, but I don't want to do that part because then you have to manually remove those stitches with a stitch remover, and I don't want to do all that. So I'm gonna go here to where it says, I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see that. It says plus and minus, so you're gonna press that, and I'm gonna go, I think it's plus that I want to do. Let me see, plus. I don't remember which one, but let me see if I do plus 100, plus 100 twice already, and then I go okay, let me see where it's at, and it's at the name now. So that line is not going to get stitched out. I hope that this is correct. But what I'm going to do, let me see, I'm going to go back so I can make sure that that's correct. Well, see, it's showing me here that that's the first thing it's going to do. So I'm going to press here now, and I'm going to go plus 100, and then I'm going to go okay, and see, it's still there. So I'm going to go again to there, and I'm going to go plus 100, and and then I'm gonna go okay, and then it's on Elijah, and it's gonna start down here. Oops, let me go back. I pressed on the screen. It's just touch screen, but there's a little plus mark there. This shows it's gonna start there on the E. So I'm hoping that it's gonna start exactly where it's supposed to start with the name, and that I go forward too far. But I'm thinking that it's okay. So then I'm gonna just leave it as is, and then we can put a thing down, and then we can start to stitch. But first I gotta thread my machine. Alright, so before you press the start button, make sure that your hoop is not gonna touch anything like your wall or anything that's around it. I just checked. I make sure my hoop is not close to the wall, so it has enough space, and then this part of my hoop, my machine, is not gonna touch anything. It's not close enough, even though I can just move this to the side like that, just in case, give it more space, and you're free and clear to go. And I am going to do white letters with his name, and the little swiggly lines that I put there, they're going to be in white. So I'm just going to press on the go and hope for the best. Anyway, here we go. So it looks like it did start exactly where it needed to start, which is a good thing. My battery's about to die, so I'm just going to change my battery, and when this is done doing its thing and it's ready for the second part of the hoop, I will come back to you. You press OK. I'm sorry about the background noise, but it's really hot in my room. I had to turn on the AC, so just like I said, I'm sorry, but it's finished. So now I'm gonna go back to find the second part of the design and go back into my USB. Go back, and then here's, which one is it? I forgot. This one right here, Miguel. Set, and as you can see, it says Miguel. That's the second part of the design. I'm gonna end here. I'm going to take this out and reposition it, so give me a second. Alright, so I'm gonna grab it here. I'm gonna unhook, and I'm just gonna bring it over to the second place there. I'm gonna hook it, make sure there's hook, which it is. Move the blanket out the way again. Make sure everything is out of the way. Okay, so there it is hooked. I'm gonna bring it back over here, and I'm gonna click this again so I can see where it's gonna do it. That's garbage pickup. That scares me every single time. Anyway, I'm gonna press OK. I'm gonna go embroidery here, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna skip that line thing. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna go plus twice, like we did before. Press OK, and it's gonna start on the M. And I hope that it's starting correctly. If not, I'm gonna have to go back again once it's done, but I think it should be okay. I'm gonna keep the white thread on. It's ready to go. And I'm just gonna press go. so it finished the second side of the hoop. Just gonna press OK here, and I'm gonna take the hoop off the machine, and then we can clean it off and do the next step, which is cleaning it off. So I'm just gonna take it off. So the first thing I want to do is take off the pins so they don't be in the way. I'm going to put them back into my pin cushion. Okay. I'm going to take my little scissors here and I'm going to start cutting these jump threads, get them out the way. Alright, so I remove all the jump stitches. Now I'm going to take the water soluble off. I'm just going to pull on it like this to remove it. Alright, so I took off the jump threads and the water soluble. I love the way it turned out. Can't really see the squiggly lines on the camera, but I can see them. I wanted it to be subtle. I didn't want it to be too much. There's a lot of color going on with the little frames here, with the little animals. And now we're just going to rip this off, because remember this is tear away, so we could just tear it away. So, remove the hoop and turn it around. I'm just going to tear this away carefully. I don't want to ruin the back of the piece here. Can't get to it, I just like to use my scissors like that. I can go in it because I don't want to mess up the stitches. There we go. Because remember, this is going to be covered up, so I don't want to leave any of this in there, because when you wash it, it might, I don't know if it washes away, right? So I just want to make sure that I take enough of it out so it's not going to interfere. The stitches not so much, because that's going to be covered, so I leave the stitches there. I don't have to worry about those because it's going to be covered. Alright guys, so there it is. It is complete. And I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to do a part 2, and in the part 2 I'm going to show you guys how I put the blanket together, how I sew it and make it into a blanket, I should say. And I'll see you then. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, this tutorial, and I hope you come back for more, and just click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified when I do upload the second part of this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.